could be recognized in his new life. But for a long time, no clues were found. Until 11 years later,
I got some kind of one dream.
Says the 14th Dalai Lama.
The location, the area where you see the present is the Karmapa was born. One valley is naturally the stones and the lawns looks high altitude, and then facing the south, and there's some stream, small, beautiful streams. And that is the main sort of the picture. There's someone there and told me, actually, without this phone, there's someone, some source, they telling to me, oh, this is the place where Karmapa was born.
Where could this place be? How could it be found?
Here in northern India is where Situ, one of Karmapa's 4 interim regions, made an interesting discovery.
Pressured by the faithful, who hoped and expected that Karmapa had left some clues behind, Situ felt that he should open the talisman Karmapa had given him 10 months before his death with the words, "This will protect you and someday be useful."
The late His Holiness gave me this protection pouch in early January 1981. And one day it was snake year. I opened that and I found an envelope. And the envelope have red ink letter saying that this should be opened in the Iron Horse year. And then I was very, very happy. And then after I offered the letter to 3 Rinpoches in Rumtek in March 1992.
Traditionally, such talismans are never opened. But since no one had found any indications of Karmapa's rebirth, he decided to open it after all.
But the letter is still... Letter is in Rumtek, yes. Envelope and letter both in Rumtek. It's in the altar.
Here in Rumtek Monastery, in the headquarters of the late Karmapa, this most important and holy document is protected by the Sikkim police, both from outside and inside. Absolutely no one has access to it. Only Karmapa himself, when he returns in his new incarnation, has the right to break these seals.
But I have a copy here of the sacred letter, and this is in Tibetan, so I will read this. Emma Ho Rangrigne Kuntude.
Emma Ho. Self-awareness is always bliss. The Dharma Dhatu has no center nor edge. From here to the north, in the east of the land of snow, is a country where divine thunder spontaneously blazes, in a good nomad's place with the sign of a cow. Method is Dunduk, and wisdom is Lolaga. Born in the year of the one used for the earth, with the miraculous far-reaching sound of the White One. This is the one known as Karmapa. He is sustained by Lord Drupa. Being non-sectarian, he pervades all directions. Not staying close to some and distant from others, he is the protector of all beings.
When I discovered this, I was very pleased. And actually it was a tremendous relief. This is exactly the blessing and also inspiration of highest aspect, which we have been waiting, and we are finally blessed by it. So I was very, very happy.
This letter was interpreted by Gyalsap on the left, Jamgon, Situ, and Shamar on the right working together. They all came to a unanimous conclusion, which Gyalsap reads to us.
From here to the north, in the east of the land of snow, we interpret here as Rumtek, where Karmapa wrote the letter. And in the east of the land of snow means we have to look for him in eastern Tibet, because land of snow is the Tibetan name for Tibet. Where divine thunder spontaneously blazes indicates a district in eastern Tibet. La means divine, and Tok means thunder. There is only one community in eastern Tibet named La Tok. The letter describes the area more precisely as a good nomad place with the sign of a cow. Good means a fertile, beautiful nomadic area. This area must have a name which includes the syllable kor, meaning cow. The next line, method is Dundup and wisdom is Lolaga, predicts the names of the parents. It refers to the Buddhist symbolism. The sun symbolizes the masculine principle, method, and the moon symbolizes the female principle, wisdom. Therefore, the father must be named Dundup and the mother Lolaga. Born in the year of the one used for the earth, prophesies the year of his birth. During the relevant period in the Tibetan calendar, there is, in addition to the snake, dragon, hare, and tiger, only one animal sign used for the earth, the ox, 1985. The words, the miraculous far-reaching sound of the White One, refer to the white conch shell used in Tibetan religious music, which is always called the White One. Sustained by Lord Drupa refers to Situ, whose Buddhist name of honor is Drupa. In his previous life, Situ had identified the last Karmapa and was chosen to exercise this function once again. With respect, so much for the moment.
Jamgon, Karmapa's other interim regent.
What do you personally think of the letter?
Very precise.
Do you think the information which the letter contains and how you interpreted it will enable you to find the reincarnation of Karmapa?
Yeah, you could say that. Yes, it is very clear and very precise. And that's why we're all very confident about, finding of his holiness or yes.
Because of visa problems, a copy of the letter is sent together with their interpretation to Tsurpu Monastery in Tibet.
Tsurpu has been the seat of all Karmapas for 800 years. Drupon Dechen, the abbot of the monastery, gives Tomo the task of leading the search with the letter as guide.
Take Ashang Lerdro with you and travel to Kham in eastern Tibet, and then follow the directions in the letter. The reincarnation of Karmapa is something so unique. It's like an offering cup made of a pure blue Benshuya jewel. Hopefully, after 12 years of waiting, all our wishes are going to be fulfilled. The letter brings a blessing.
For Tomo, it is the greatest task of his life.
Only a handful of people know his mission, because indications and conditions could be manipulated and the search could therefore fail. As discreetly as possible, Tomo sets off on his long journey, together with his companions, the 70-year-old Ashang Ledro with a white hat, Titi, his attendant, the driver, and Pato.
No one in Tibet is allowed to travel without official permission. Therefore, Pato, in the black coat, a government officer, accompanies them. It's more than 1,000 miles to Latok, eastern Tibet, and several military checkpoints have to be passed.
Patula, we'll simply say that you're on an official inspection trip and that you were kind enough to take us along. Tomula, we won't tell anyone what we're looking for. We'll pretend to be pilgrims.
The job they have to do is very risky because searching for a reincarnation is condemned as a superstitious activity by the Chinese and severely punished. Therefore, they have to keep the reason for their journey strictly secret, and if they really find Karmapa, their hope is that Karmapa will protect them. Karmapa is not like an ordinary reincarnation. He's a living Buddha, and the Chinese would provoke an uprising in Tibet if they chose to condemn him, as they did up to now with many others.
For 30 years, the Tibetans had been strictly forbidden to practice their religion. In the meantime, however, a very few selected monasteries have been given permission to rebuild. The monasteries were centers of education for everyone.
The country on the roof of the world is as big as Western Europe, or a quarter of the US, but with only 6 million inhabitants. Since 1960, Beijing has been oppressing Tibet with 500,000 soldiers and colonizing it with what are by now 8 million new Chinese settlers.
More than 1 million Tibetans have been killed. The country has been looted. Tibet's natural resources are plundered, and nearly all the big wild animals have been wiped out. Before the Chinese started to build roads, one could see great herds of antelopes, wild donkeys, and yaks. Today, only a few birds are left.
Tibetans do not kill animals just for fun or profit. It would be against their faith. The majority are nomads who live with and not against nature.
You heard our agony. Oh, Gyalwang Karmapa, you saw our misery.
A Himalayan valley can be so large that it takes a whole day to cross. If the jeep has a breakdown, there is no one who can help. It is so cold that in the morning one can drive over frozen rivers, but by midday they're thawed out again, and these extremes of temperature are repeated day after day.
This is a search where nothing may go wrong. The monks from Tsurpu bear an enormous responsibility. If they're not able to find Karmapa, they will disappoint millions of people whose faith in reincarnation as a law of nature will be deeply shaken.
The search party now has to proceed on horseback because there are no roads into the district of Latok. They need 4 riding horses and 1 pack horse for at least 2 weeks. Horses are rare and not easy to get, but with friendly words they quickly come to terms.
Before drinking, one always sacrifices a few drops to the hungry spirits.
It's a beer made out of barley, or salty butter tea, which tastes like a greasy broth.
The horses of the Himalayas are pretty small, but they're tough.
Without giving themselves away, the men continue the search. Now the arduous part of the journey begins. A day's ride to Latok over high passes and through dangerous ravines.
The monks of Tsurpu have sent Officer Pato on ahead to see if the coast is clear and to find accommodations in Latok.
After 3 days in the saddle, Pato reaches Latok. Above the village is the Kalek Monastery, which was completely destroyed by the invaders in 1966 and recently rebuilt.
The abbot, Lama Palden, welcomes the camouflaged pilgrims from Tsurpu. He spent 25 years in prison. Now he again looks after all the little boys sent to the monastery for education.
Could Karmapa already be among them?
Lama Palden, do you have any unusual children?
Recently, many children from the area have again begun to enter the monastery, and although I'm able to see if a child has special skills and qualities, I'm not able to see who they've been in their previous lives.
Tradition says that there have been earlier incarnations of Karmapa who identified themselves with their very first words, "I am Karmapa." In the case of such a child, however, his personal data always had to correspond exactly with the indications in the letter of prophecy.
Tomo and Lodro not only interviewed monks, they also talked to people outside the monastery.
They asked me about a place with Kor in its name. Yes, I said. Pakor, the Valley of the Cow, isn't far from here. And they wanted to know if there was a woman named Lolaga. Yes, there is. And her husband is called Dundup. The men said they were relatives and wanted to know all about their children. So I told them Lolaga and Dundup had 6 daughters and 3 sons. The oldest must have been born in the year of the hare, the middle one in the year of the ox, and the youngest in the year of the pig. When they heard all that, one of them folded his hands and began to weep.
Early the next day, they ride on. If everything goes well, they can reach Pakor the same day.
"12 years of waiting, and now only one more pass to cross."
valley where only nomads live. Here there are neither houses, nor mail, nor electricity. The men from Tsurpu find it hard to imagine that their enlightened Karmapa, the Buddha, could have chosen this, of all places, for his reincarnation. What reasons might he have?